We now determine the exact value of sine theta by 2 and cosine theta by 2, given that sine theta equals 2 by 9, where theta lies in first quadrant, that is theta greater than 0 and less than pi by 2. So first we construct this right triangle. Uh, we have to mention this angle as theta, and since sine theta equals 2 by 9, sine theta is basically opposite side over hypotenuse. So the opposite side to angle theta is this side. So we mark this as 2, and the hypotenuse is this side. So we mark this as 9. And this means that we can determine this unknown side length using Pythagorean identity. So we write x equals the square of the hypotenuse is basically the square root of the square of the hypotenuse minus the square of another leg, which is 2 squared. And so this gives the square root. 9 square is 81 minus 2 square is 4. So 81 minus 4 equals 77. And so we have determined x equals under the root of 77. So let me put square root of 77 is x. And this means we can determine cosine theta. So let's determine cosine theta. According to SOHCAHTOA, this is the adjacent side over hypotenuse. The adjacent side to theta is root 77, and divided by hypotenuse is 9. And thus we have determined this cosine theta, which we will utilize to find the value of sine theta by 2 and cosine theta by 2. So first let's do part A. So we use the half angle identity for sine function. So according to half angle identity, sine theta by 2 equals plus or minus 1 minus cosine theta divided by 2, and this is another square root. So here we have to plug in the value of cosine theta and determine the value of sine theta by 2. So this equals, we are going to remove this negative because theta lies in first quadrant. So therefore sine theta will be positive. So we do not have to consider the negative values of sine theta by 2. We consider only the positive value. So now let's plug in the value of cosine theta, which is under the root of 77 divided by 9, and this is divided by 2. Let's simplify this. 1 we write this as 9 by 9. So this will be 9 by 9 minus root 77 divided by 9, and this is divided by 2. So we simplify the numerator. Since we have the common denominator 9, we can write this as 9 minus of root 77 divided by 9, and we already have a 2 in the denominator. So this 9 will get multiplied with 2, and so therefore this equals 9 minus under the root of 77 divided by 9 times 2 is 18, and this is under the square root. And so this is the value of sine theta by 2. Now let's determine the value of cosine theta by 2. Write cosine theta by 2. According to half angle identity, this equals plus or minus 1 plus cosine theta divided by 2. And this is another square root. And now if we compare this identity with sine theta by 2 identity, the only change between the sine theta by 2 identity and this one is this positive sign. So everything else remains the same. And this means we can utilize the expression or the exact value which we obtained for sine theta by 2 and write this expression or the exact value immediately. Once again, we can remove this negative value because theta lies in first quadrant. So cosine theta by 2 will be positive quantity. So I'm going to write the answer for this using the answer which we obtained for sine theta by 2, but we just have to change the negative to positive. So therefore, the exact value of cosine theta by 2 equals 9 plus root 77 divided by 18, and this is square root. So this is the exact value of cosine theta by 2.